Hello, here's the Mindful Man reading The Clinic by Paul G. Brett, Chapter 5. Darling Diary, I am just so worried I haven't written anything to you for simply weeks. I know you'll love to hear from me every day, and I do enjoy telling you everything, but I've been on that simply awful boat, and I really couldn't take you with me. And we've moved and I've been so busy. I was so excited to begin with, a yacht and all the stars in the sky above, and tossing about on the ocean wave. It made me think of Mendelssohn and his Fingal's Cave, with all that heaving and surging of water. We've played it sometimes in our orchestra, but it all turned out to be so horrid. Well, not horrid really, but sort of horrid, though I'd die if I had to tell Flicky that. There was absolutely no room, you see. We had to undress with everyone looking on, and it wouldn't keep still for a moment. And we couldn't get a proper shower, and you won't believe how mucky we all were. The food was dreadful too. Everything was out of tins and packets. I haven't had so much mashed potato and beans. Oh, the beans, they were disgusting. But we did go on shore, and that made up for it, I suppose. We went into all the little harbours. They were called, well, I can't remember what they were called, but we found these brilliant little restaurants and had scallops with cheese on and lobsters and oysters, and I was so looking forward to langoustines, and we found them too. They were absolutely delicious, you won't believe. And I didn't miss Hugo one bit, though you mustn't tell him that. Oh, you won't, will you, Dee Dee? If you do, I shall never speak. I shall never speak to you again. I'll have to stop now, he said. He'd take me out somewhere as a welcome home celebration, he called it. Well, as long as it's a really good meal, I don't mind what he calls it. And then we'll come back here, so I'd better put you away so you don't see anything naughty. Bye, Dee Dee. See you tomorrow, and the sweetest of dreams. Think of me being tossed on the ocean wave or something, if that helps you get to sleep. I hurriedly locked Dee Dee away in her box and pushed it into the back of the wardrobe and ran downstairs to the door. Hello, Lucy said with a big grin. Sorry I wasn't here earlier, but I've been so tied up in this new job. There's so much to do. Stepping over the mat, he gave me the most enormous kiss and then held out a big bunch of flowers. Oh, thank you, darling. You don't have to. Actually, you know I hate carnations, horrid little hothouse things, all fancy and frilly. They grow them in such awful places in Africa. Papa told me once, and spoil the economy for the poor people in the third world. I've got so much to tell you. Oh God, we had such a time, and I want to know everything. Everything you've been doing, and of course I'm starving, so. All in good time, there's no need to get quite so excited. Oh, but I am excited. I haven't seen you for yonks. What are you taking me? Where are you taking me? Do say. It's a surprise, but what about a drink first before we go? Silly man, of course, there's so much to tell. At 6 p.m. we set off. He'd found an absolutely thrilling place with tables all in a row, and there were mirrors along the wall so that everyone could see out into the garden, the other side of the road, even if they were facing the other way. We couldn't, of course, because it was dark, but we could see the lights twinkling through the trees. And so tell me about the trip, he said as soon as we found our table. It was amazing, it really was, though some of it was awful. Best of it was when I steered the boat through the waves just like that Tracy Edwards. They were brilliant. It was just me and the wide, wide ocean. But I thought you were 6 of you on board. Oh, they were, but they were all asleep down below. Didn't you have 2 of you on watch all the time? Of course we did, but it just felt like me and the sea, the 2 of us all alone, rocking gently back and forth with each other under the open sky. You're a real romantic, Luce. Oh, yes, I am. Go on, then. Yes, well, Robbie said we were crossing the shipping lanes, and it was the most crowded part of the sea ever, and it did so well at the helm you won't believe. Oh, I do. I did it once. You never told me. You never asked me. How could I ask you if I didn't know? You could have asked what I did before I met you. But what you did before doesn't count. Only what we do together matters, doesn't it, Hugo? I mean, the world didn't exist before us, you know. I mean, before us. Well, carry on. The boat, yes, it was terribly frightening when the waves got up. When we went along the coast of Brittany, it was very rough, and I was nearly sick. I know I was, but I wasn't. That was a piece of luck. Flicky was, though. It was awful. It just came right up. Okay, I don't need to know the details. And we sailed into millions of little ports, and there were shops and cafes and rocky bays and French food and... Ah, here's the waiter. What are you going to have? There's a special menu, gourmand, with 6 courses and 6 special wines. I thought we'd have that if you'd like. Let me see. Here it is. But I don't know what half these things are, Hugo. Shall I just be bold and try? Why not? I will. Okay, I'll have it. I don't have to choose. It's all been done for me. Very well, we'll both have this menu, if we may. Certainly, sir, madam, said the waiter with a strangulated French accent. We started with foie gras with a German wine. It was so rich. And then we had sea bass with scallops and a wonderful fishy sauce. I told him all I could remember about the trip, leaving out some of the awful bits and how smelly we were and all that. And then I suddenly remembered I hadn't asked him more about that long chat we'd had with my dear papa. When we went home, I said, "And you were talking with Papa? Did he ask you a lot of awkward questions about your work?" I was in the middle of the duck with cherries and that Spanish red wine. No, just routine stuff, really. He's an intelligent man. I know. He told me he was on a committee looking at the ethics of medical drugs. It was quite some interesting. I never knew they got involved in that sort of thing. Who? Bishops? Oh, I see. And what did he say about it? He had some rather conservative views. I expect he just hadn't thought very much about it, really. Hope you like that little chapter from The Clinic by Paul G. Brett. I'll be reading some more later.